Welcome to Your Time to Thrive with personal fitness coach Jason Stevenson.
Hi, friends. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to the Your Time to Thrive podcast. I'm your host today. My name is Jason. It's been a couple of weeks. It's good to see you all or hear from you. I hope it's good for you to hear us. We're excited to talk to you. Today, I'm joined by my amazing friend, Benjamin Barber. He's the producer extraordinaire, the motivation in my mornings, and good friend, actually.
The motivation in your mornings?
I gotta say, man, there's many days where I get up and I see your post from the day before that you got up and walked and you're like out there doing it and pushing it. And I'm like, you know what? Damn, man, I could get it today.
Well, that's crazy. But thank you.
Why?
I don't know. That seems insane.
What? That we would motivate each other?
Yeah. But just that I would be a factor in that at all. It seems crazy. But thank you so much.
One of the things, you're welcome. You're welcome for that. One of the things that I love about being a trainer and being a coach is that the things that we don't think have the impact that they do actually have the biggest impact sometimes. And I find that that's constant in life, right? That like the little things that you don't think are happening. Like how many times have you teared up watching like a commercial or like seeing some post where it's like, remember who's watching when you're doing push-ups, you know, because there's like the picture of the little kid watching his dad do push-ups in the living room, or like the little girls like watching mom get up and go for a run in the morning. Like the things that we do as self-care that we're not intending to have the impact that they have, they're the most powerful sometimes.
I agree with that sentiment. However, I don't agree with the sentimentality of it because I do not cry at anything ever. I've never shed a tear in my entire life, and I never intend on it. And don't try to get me to.
You're a liar. I can make you cry if I want to.
How dare you? You could not make me cry. Nothing could make me cry.
I find that utter nonsense and bullshit. You can still be a man in this world and have connection to your emotions.
Well, yes, I completely agree with that. Yes, I fully believe that. So, what are we talking about today?
How do you measure your successes or success? So I don't know if our listeners know this. I've actually asked this question a couple of times over the last couple of days because I grew up being a huge Olympics fan. My father is a huge Olympic fan and has been to 7 different Olympics games. I was lucky enough to join him in the 1996 games with my brother, and we went down to Atlanta and learned why I don't live in the South in the summertime. The Olympics are going on right now. Do you know that, Ben?
Yeah. I do know that because I have watched unwillingly some of the Olympics recently. I said last night or the night before, I have never once in my life actively put on the Olympics. I have never once in 33 years ever gone, you know what I want to do tonight? I want to watch the Olympics. That's never happened. Not once, not never. But I've probably seen part of every Olympics since I've been alive. And because the people around me are all interested in it. And I don't understand that either, because a lot of them aren't interested in like sports. You know what I mean? Like people that aren't interested in sports, all of a sudden every 4 years they're interested in the Olympics. Summer Olympics. The Summer Olympics. No one gives a shit about the Winter Olympics. But everybody cares about the summer. All of a sudden, everybody cares about the Summer Olympics. No one cares about the Winter Olympics. But yeah, I obviously, yes, other people care about the Winter Olympics, and yes, I get it. And I enjoy watching the Olympics when they're on in front of me. But I've never actively chosen to watch them. never actively chose to watch them.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
that's it.
But yes. So I have watched some of the Olympics this year.
Nice.
What was your? You know what I watched actually the other night was water polo, and tell you what, there's nothing that doesn't look like an Olympic sport more than water polo. I mean, really, just it's a bunch of people swimming, throwing a ball around, trying to throw the ball into a net. Like it's fascinating, and I want to play. And those people are like insane athletes because that's incredibly hard to tread water and swim those laps and throw it. Like so hard, so difficult. I was like, I want to get like a little group of people together and start a water polo league.
I love it.
Just because it's so fun.
I love it. I'm in.
So fun. But I want to do it in like an Intex above ground pool.
So you can actually stand.
Yeah.
I'm in. Count me in.
Anyway, yes. So about the Olympics, yes.
Yeah,
I had serious thoughts too in a minute, but
no, that's good. And that's how this goes, man. You know that. So I've been really surprised because I know subjectively I've been surrounded by the Olympics, by sports and competition, things like that, growing up in a fitness family. And to me, it's like, okay, the Olympics are on, we're going to watch. But it's surprising to me that some people, it's just not even a thought process. Like, oh yeah, no, I forgot they were on. But I understand. It's not that I don't understand that. There's a lot of people I know that don't watch TV. I get that. If you don't watch TV, you're not watching the Olympics. But it's one of those things that's just mind-blowing to me. Because like you just said, water polo, they're literally treading water the entire time and swimming and fighting each other, basically. Wrestling underwater. Have you seen any of the underwater camera shots?
yes. What do they do the other 4 years? So
You
like
mean those athletes?
yeah, like are there leagues around the world for water polo that like just no one ever hears about? Like that's the thing that like is crazy to me. Like all of these sports that are like they're Olympic sports, they're so like prestigious and you don't hear anything about them ever except for every 4 years. And that's what I'm interested in.
You want to know the sad truth? It's this.
Yes, they compete nationally and train. I know.
Yeah. Thank you, Meg.
I'm
You're
just
right,
saying.
though. Hey, you asked the question.
And they have college teams too. Yes, thank you, Megan. I want to see NBC commit to showing a yearly league of water polo in the United States.
So this is the conversation that we're having now, especially about women's sports, right? The earning power of women compared to the earning power of men, even in comparative sports, even like basketball, which there's women's basketball, there's men's basketball. But if you look at the actual average salary for a woman who plays in the WNBA compared to the average salary for a man who plays in the NBA, it's a little skewed. It's about earning power.
Yeah.
And in this country, the almighty dollar, whoever can sell, make commercials. That's why you hear the women's soccer team when there's national competitions that they're winning, and then you don't hear shit about them when they're not winning. It's the one major complaint that I have about the Olympics. Our coverage sucks. There's a ton of sports that are going on for 16 days. Athletes are competing almost 24 hours a day in 41 different sports. Did you know that there was 41 different sports?
I
Not
didn't
to mention,
it doesn't surprise me.
Of those 41 sports, there are 339 events because there could be one sport like diving or synchronized diving, but then there's multiple competitions, so you have different platforms for the diving. You have springboard platform or you have team stuff. So within each sport, there's multiple competitions. The reason that you don't hear about it and see about it is because those athletes don't make the money with the advertising that football players do in this country. And that's why you don't hear about it. We actually, as a country, only compete in 33 of the 41 sports. How's that make sense?
Because there are things that Americans just don't care about. And if we know that we're not good at it, we're just not going to try and then blame other people. But like
mic drop.
Yeah. So I think, but going back to the earning power, right? Like, I don't think that that's necessarily a fair argument because there are, and when we were watching the other night, the female swimmer, Reagan, I think her name is Reagan Smith, maybe, I don't know. Like, they did a piece with her, talking about how she was a high school student last year and ready to go, and all of this stuff, and it was quirky, and they had like everything that she did throughout the year getting ready, and it was really funny and all of this stuff, and within 2 minutes we went from not knowing who the hell she was, never hearing her name before, to like, if she doesn't win this gold medal, I'm going to be heartbroken. And so because of that, right? I think that there's an argument to be made about earning power and storytelling and marketing and letting these people be stars, right? So like, there is no reason, I do not believe that the market is 100% saying like, we don't care about the WNBA. Men's athletes are the only ones that we care about. Therefore, the lowest paid NBA player should make like 5 times what the highest paid WNBA player, or whatever I know that it's ridiculous. I don't know exactly what it is. Like, the way that like America fell in love with Mia Hamm and Brandy Chastain in the late 90s, early 2000s for like a year, like, if
like
those things are cultivated and capitalized on, then you have the ability for these markets to grow, and for there to be actual equity in this. Like, there's and that's just what it is, like, right? Like, these female athletes are amazing, but they're held to different standards and they are presented in different ways, and that's not fair. Was it the women's beach volleyball team that wanted to wear shorts? They wanted to wear shorts and they were told, no, it's against the rules, you have to show your butt. Like, that's ridiculous. These are ridiculous rules, and also, so this gets back to, how do you measure success? Simone Biles dropped out, right? Which I'm sure you were going to talk about at some point. Okay, cool.
But it's good.
Simone Biles dropped out for mental and physical health. And, there's a lot of people that are like, quitter, you failed your country.
Right.
You turned your back on your country. You gave up. Oh, you can't be the best because you can't handle the pressure, and it's like, that's bullshit. That's all bullshit. Like, if there's so many things going on at any point, and like, nobody can judge another person like that. And the fact that she has decided to not measure success by winning a gold medal this year, and that being the only bar that she set for herself, and instead was able to quality of life in whatever way that is, getting quality of life in there is like the definition of a healthy way to measure success. So I think that is a wonderful transition for how you measure success.
I agree with you. And I agree with your transition. No, you're smart to say it that way, because there's going to be a lot of talk about this. And it's a shame, because it should have been talked about before this. But it's not a bad opportunity to have that conversation, right? Like, as a national and international competitor, she had to achieve unbelievable success just to get to the Olympics. It's one of the things that I've learned to appreciate, because one of the things that I was taught was, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. And that doesn't mean that you don't have a competitive spirit. That doesn't mean that you're not trying to win. What matters is how you actually compete, how you actually treat your fellow competitors, how you actually perform on the playing field. and how you are, and for somebody to get to that point, just to get to the Olympics, like I just said, there are 41 different events, 33 different sports that we actually competed in this games. So out of those 41, there's 38 different sports that nobody from this country is actually competing in. Now, that doesn't mean that you and I could just go, oh, I can play ping pong, I'll go compete in the Olympics, because nobody else put up a team. You have to qualify. You have to compete at an international level and be recognized at a national level and win national competitions in order to actually have the privilege of being invited to the Olympics and then compete. Mm-hmm. It's a ridiculous honor, and it's a ridiculous level of achievement that these athletes have gotten to simply be there. And then you have countries from all over the world that are competing, and you watch our coverage and all you see is Americans. Even last night with the women's gymnastics and the Russians that beat us, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it yet.
How dare you?
We got silver. Spoiler alert. We didn't win. We're not the best in the world, folks. I hate to tell you, America is not the best in the world at everything. But
that's nonsense.
It was literally a competition with multiple teams on the floor last night. And what did we watch? We watched the Americans do most of their apparatus. Not all of the Americans that were actually competing. Not even all of our athletes were shown screen time. They actually showed more of Simone Biles standing on the sidelines cheering than they did some of the athletes that actually competed in the events last night. It's ridiculous. And that's what I mean by that earning potential. I feel like that's the focus. The focus is on what's going to sell the story, what's going to sell commercials, what's going to get viewership, as opposed to the remarkable success that it is to actually achieve Olympic level competition, to like be invited to the Olympic Games. And we're missing all of that. And I agree with you as far as the measurement of success for Simone, though, because to have achieved a point in her life where emotionally and psychologically she can differentiate between herself and the team and competition and what's good for her is huge. Like, we're all striving for that. That would be something that I would use as a measurement of success, that you have gotten to a point where you are self-aware enough and connected enough to your true self and to your goals that when something doesn't align with it, you just take a step back and go, nope, not for me. And there's probably athletes that do that all the time, that go, you know what, I'm not going to the Olympics this year. It's just not right for me.
Yeah. Megan says, also, don't forget she is one of the 150 women that trusted the system of U.S. gymnastics that was brought up on fear and abuse. She took her power back from a system that didn't help any of their athletes for so long. Yeah.
Yeah, huge. She started her own gym. Did you know that?
No.
She opened up her own gym so that she could provide a safe environment for young competitors and young gymnasts that wanted to feel safe. Pretty amazing. Really is remarkable.
So how do you measure success? Do you measure success by the children that you coach going on and winning gold medals, or by them being happy and healthy and learning the right way and not having a ridiculously stressed environment where they're abused? And yeah.
Right.
Success. Like, how do you, what is it?
It's subjective, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's why when we talk about goals, I try to dig deeper than people's initial goals. Because if your goal is, like we've talked about, like to lose weight or, to fit in the dress for the wedding, then that's one level of success. But there are so many other benchmarks and so many other steps through that process that you're going to achieve greatness from, and you're going to see success from. You're going to see moments where you're like, yeah, this is a win. It should be.
I was talking to this was years ago, but I was talking to a client a long time ago, and I asked them what their goals were, from a business perspective, because that's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that they wanted to, like have like $1 million or $10 million, like that. They wanted to be making like $1 million a year. And I was like, why? Like, but why though? Like, why is that success to you? Like, what do you want to do with that? Like, right. Once you have it, like, what do you want to do with it? And it was like, I don't want to worry about money. And I feel like that's a big enough number where, and I'm like, okay, so the goal is that you don't want to worry about money.
Right.
And then, you know, and then it was like, and I want to like take time off and like vacation and like take a bunch of time off every year and like hang out on the beach and do all, okay. So you can like make those things happen a lot easier than you can get $10 million, you know, and you can like, but it's like, what are you looking at for success, you know?
Yeah.
And that person, by the way, now like lives at the beach and does all of that stuff and is like, and is, you know, living their best life, which is great. But they don't have $10 million.
Right.
They don't have 10, and they would be severely unhappy, I assume. This is a strict assumption. But if they, you know, had kept their goal, had kept their measurement of success, what they deemed successful, as making $1 million a year, with that, then they wouldn't have ever thought that they were successful. But, you know, now living these like little mini retirements while also doing the work that like gives them energy every day.
Right.
That's life.
That's success, man. That's completely unintentional, folks, but Ben is walking right into the whole point of this today, right? Because he knows what we're talking about. He knows not to measure success on the pennies. That's the truth, right? Like if you are reaching for the wrong goals, if you are focused on the wrong achievements, not enough money in the world for you. There really isn't. Because if you think, you know, this money can't buy happiness crap, you're right. It can't buy happiness. It can buy things that make you happy, but it's not going to buy your happiness. It's not going to make you feel more successful because you have a certain dollar sign. It's the same reason that weight loss and sizes are never going to be the real success point for you, because there's no successful weight number that will magically make you feel amazing. There's going to be a place where you get to with the habits, with the health, with the quality of life, with the way the clothing feels on your skin, the way that you feel about yourself. This is like we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, you know, that it's not the discomfort of the moment that matters. It's what you get from it. It's how you feel afterwards. It's achieving the goal that you set for yourself and realizing that in just endeavoring to get to that place, by you taking the steps and getting up and doing something that's challenging, you're going to feel amazing. Thank you, Beck. Right? Hell yeah. I had a client come in this morning, actually, that was really happy. I said, how are you doing today? She says, great. I just parked parallel parking. That was perfect. It was beautiful. You should come see this job. I did an amazing job parallel parking this morning. And she was genuinely excited, like really happy, really excited about her parking job. Now, I grew up learning how to park. I know how to parallel park. I could definitely parallel park. But if you've ever nailed it, like clean, one turn back, reset, you get out, you're like 3 inches from the curb, you can't beat that feeling. And that's a little thing. That's just parking. But that starts your day. That starts your life. You start celebrating those little successes. Move forward with that. How empowered do you feel when you nail something simple like that? You know, you ever flip a fried egg and not break the yolk and just think, fuck yeah?
No, because I don't eat fried eggs.
Really?
Yeah.
Like eggs at all? Are you one of those weird people? I don't mean to judge by saying weird, but I mean weird people that don't eat eggs.
No, I eat eggs. Usually like once a week. Usually once a week we have breakfast and you know, we have like a scramble. With sometimes it's just scrambled eggs and we'll make like sandwiches or something on it. But sometimes it'll be she'll make a little batch for Braden that's just scrambled eggs, and then she'll make a big batch with like tomatoes and spinach and garlic and stuff. Oh yeah. So yeah, but no, I've never. My mom, I've had a fried egg and it's fine, but I've never made a fried egg.
Really?
Yeah. So your example once again, just like the crying, does not work on me because I've never cried.
We're going back to this. We're going back to this. Are you serious about this?
What?
You've never watched a Disney flick and cried? You never watched a commercial about Humane Society and cried?
Never.
Never watched Dirty Dancing and cried?
Sarah McLachlan has no effect on me.
I find that hard to believe. You're such a connected, like,
Nope.
emotional guy, though. Like, you
Never.
big heart. Like, come on.
Never.
Look, your audience is listening. They know you're full of shit.
That's true.
I think it's a good thing as we separate from the point of our conversation today. But how often have you heard that, like, like that, or felt like that? Like you have to present something different than what you really feel, like, why is it not okay? Like, I've looked at my wife a couple of times during movies we've been watching, and I'm like tears are like pouring down my face. I'm like, you don't feel this?
She's like, no. And also, I want a divorce.
Yeah. Usually it comes out as, what's wrong with you? I'm like, well, I've got a heart. Like, you don't get that? Like, she was trying to be like successful in her mother's eyes, and now her mom was proud of her. And I'm like, it's okay to be connected to your emotions. It's okay to feel. Life is too short, folks. Don't let that pool be super shallow. You got a lot of opportunities out there to feel emotions. What are you waiting for?
That's true. And if the pool is super shallow, please don't dive in.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to wade into that. If you haven't cried at a Humane Society commercial, don't start with that.
Oh, I know. I meant physically, like if you have an Intex above ground pool, maybe great for standing and doing fake water polo, not great for diving.
No,
so do not dive. Yes, please do not dive into a shallow pool. This is just a word of warning.
PSA. That's your PSA today.
I know, for example, that during past Summer Olympics, when swimming is a big thing, as a child, I definitely jumped into the pool in the shallow end when I shouldn't have. Didn't dive though, thank God. So just PSA, don't dive into the shallow end of a pool. And also feel your emotions.
All good news. That's why you listen to this, folks. Whether you're listening live or you are listening to this recorded, know that you're always going to get good information on the Your Time to Thrive podcast.
When Jason is talking.
No, I can't take that exclusively. You just provided a good PSA for today. Maybe that should be part of the show from now on. We're always going to provide. Yeah.
PSA at the end by me.
This is Ben's,
by me every time.
This is Ben's PSA for the day. It's not a bad idea. We should all learn from that.
From what? From not diving into the shallow end. I mean, I think hopefully everyone that's watching this or listening to it later will know that diving into the shallow end of a pool is not a good idea.
Hopefully, but you're assuming that everybody's been in a pool.
Have you ever been into somebody's house, been at someone's house with a pool, and they have one of those signs that say, I don't swim in your toilet, so don't pee in my pool. Yeah. And that's what you think. I love to dive in. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I don't know why I've been so goofy on this episode either.
Ben's a rule breaker
this morning.
He's a rule breaker. You can't tell me what to do. I'm going to dive when I want to.
That's right. That's what you think.
Well, that would be that. We'll carry this back to the topic at hand. The question is, what are you using to measure, right? Like, are you following the rules? Are they helping you? Remember, your goals are what matters. Your long-term quality of life, your success in this life. You are not given an opportunity to create the life that you deserve. And I mean that. You were given this opportunity. You were born. Somebody purposely brought you into this world, and you have a chance now. You can achieve what you were given that opportunity to achieve. You can be the best human being you could be. You could achieve physical greatness, mental greatness, psychological, emotional. There is an opportunity you have here as a human being, which is one of the most amazing animals on this planet. What's holding you back? What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I love about the Olympics. I love to work out. I like to be outside. I like to be active. I play sports all the time. I'll throw the ball with the kids anytime they want to. I'll go down to the beach. I'm in the water and get out. Let's run around, right? But you watch something where you have people that have dedicated their lives and dedicated their livelihood and their families to achieving the epitome of success in that sport. That if you're not motivated to go out and run a little bit, to go out and try something different, to try a little bit harder, then you are not paying attention, folks. I agree with you. I think it's funny because every time the Olympics come around, so it's Summer Olympics every 4 years, Winter Olympics every 4 years, separated by 2 years. If you don't think that you automatically became a really big expert in gymnastics this week, just watching all of that stuff, or like every year that the Winter Olympics are on, how people are talking about figure skating. We never talk about figure skating until the Olympics come on, right? It's the same thing. But that's one side of it, right? That's only one side. The success is what they're capable of. But the success of getting there is the biggest piece for me in that. Really is. That's why it's so damn motivating. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Athletes
Absolutely.
at the peak of their capacity.
So I think that there's a formula for how I want to measure success, and I'm gonna say it like that so that it's not preachy. I think that pick a goal, whatever you think your goal is, and then ask yourself why. And then the why should be the real goal and the real way that you measure success. Like, if your goal is to get to 150 pounds, wonderful. Why? Because I want to be healthy and feel better and be able to play with my grandkids. Cool. So stop looking at the scale and going, damn it, I'm 163 pounds today.
Right.
And I was 162 yesterday. I'm going further away from my goal. And then you get stressed out. And little Sally comes in and she goes, Grandma, can you help me build my dollhouse? And you go, yeah, sure. And you get down and you're building the dollhouse, and all you're thinking about is, I should probably have a salad for lunch today because, I had chicken with the skin on it yesterday, and I think that's why I gained an extra pound. And and then you completely miss building a dollhouse with Sally, and that was your why. That was your goal. That was the whole thing, because you became obsessed with defining success as a stupid number that doesn't mean anything. So think about your goal, then ask why, then realize that that's the goal, and that's how you should measure success. Is my own advice that I'm giving to myself. I don't care. Do what you want. Just don't dive into the shallow end of a pool.
I'm gonna have to bring a microphone to the show from now on, just so I can ceremoniously just drop it. Because the truth is, dude, that's exactly what we're looking at, right? Yeah, you can't drop that. It won't drop.
I can't drop it. It's on an arm.
Drop. That's the most amazing microphone
Hold
in
on,
the world.
hold on.
Just drop it.
You won't believe me, but this is a microphone.
It doesn't have the same impact. It's got to land. You got to hear the thunk.
Yeah.
There's got to be a
right.
sound effect somewhere in that studio. But you're right though.
I have to go help. I have to go help an older woman cross the street, and by cross the street, I mean get onto a live stream. So I love you very much, Jay. And,
it's good. I love you too, man.
You soon. Wrap up the show, my friend. Take as long as you want.
I will. We're going to leave it at that, folks, actually, because that's the best way to say it. Be careful what you use. Be deliberate how you are measuring your successes, whether it's physical, mental, psychological, whatever your goal is right now, whatever it is that you're hoping to achieve, use the measurement that is most aligned with your true goals, your real self, your true self, the one that deserves to achieve that amazing success. And take a moment. If you don't have somebody like me in your life, I'm happy to be that person, but you can be that person for yourself too. take a moment and ask yourself, why am I fighting this hard? Why do I want more? Why am I hungry? Why am I so motivated by watching the Olympics? Hopefully you are. Whatever it is, whatever's going on in your world, you have the opportunity to achieve the best you, the best version of you that's possible out there. Don't wait. Take that top time today and go get it. It's your life. You get to decide. If you have any questions that are relating to your health and fitness or anything that you'd like to talk about, honestly, just shoot me a message. The thrivetrainingteam.com is the website. There's all the social media links and contact for me at the bottom of the page. Again, we appreciate you folks. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, whether you're listening live or the recorded versions. Thank you. Really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of your fitness and your day. Have a great and healthy one, folks. We'll see you soon.
For more information, tips, and workouts of the day, check out thrivetrainingteam.com.